love that's pure. It don't make no false.
People want to go back to the roots, want to go back in history, but want to live like the pioneers did.
Hey folks, this is Steve Hindy with Shark. To all you rodeo people, you're not cowboys. That's what I think about when I come here and I see all these drugstore cowboys, you know, wearing their Walmart cowboy Halloween costume. And, you know, they think they can put that costume on and they just start beating the shit out of animals, injuring them, killing them. Really some cruel, cowardly, corrupt stuff. And I guess it's just a sign of bad parenting, but somebody needs to grab these guys by the shoulders and say, you're not cowboys. You never have been cowboys. You never will be. You see, but here's the thing. If you're a cowboy, you're taking care of cows. Because those cows have to be fed and watered a lot every single day. They have to be doctored, all this kind of thing. You can't do that when you're running around from dirt lot to dirt lot around the country and spending your nights in country western bars and spending your days, I guess, in western wear shops. You're not a cowboy. To all you rodeo people, you're not cowboys. Time to wake up. And all this garbage from the rodeo announcers, 115 years of traditional rodeo, really? It's time to face facts. Rodeo is an indefensible display of animal abuse that attempts to rewrite history. The really sad thing is that there is apparently no one in authority who will stand up and speak the truth. This blight posing as Western American heritage is a shame on the entire country. Real men and women don't abuse animals. That's for posers. Sorry, guys. This is Steve Hindy for showing animals respect and kindness.
I was so proud to be a cowboy. That is until I learned the price. I never could get used to watching cattle dying. I looked into their eyes and saw their souls were crying. So my plans are laid and my dues are paid. And my boots ain't made of leather. Now you may think that I'm a coward, 'cause I walk away from a life that's cruel and hard. I'm not afraid of the hard life, but I won't hurt another soul for pleasure or reward. To undo others means that you're supposed to care, and not just people, but all that share the air. So my plans are laid, and my dues are paid, and my boots ain't made of leather. Of someone that I could love. So my plans are laid, and my dues are paid, and my boots ain't made of leather. My boots ain't made of.
And you're listening to Vegan World Radio on KPFT Houston. We've got quite a few people, interesting people, lined up to talk to you tonight about this whole question of rodeo cruelty, the inherent cruelty in rodeo and veganism. vegetarianism as an alternative. We're going to be speaking later on to, in reverse order, to Victoria Renee. She's a co-organizer of the Rodeo protests, as well as Spring Pig Saver. We're going to be speaking to Renee from Rowdy Girl Animal Sanctuary. We're also going to be speaking before we get to that, we're going to be speaking to a former Houstonian heart organizer, former PETA employee, and hardcore vegan punk, and now book author Daniel Austin about his book and his book release party this weekend. And helping me interview Daniel Austin, we're joined by Craig Wilkins, local musician from the Wheel Workers.
What's up? I also do Vegan Houston. I don't know if you know about that.
What is that?
Vegan Houston.
Is that like a website or something?
It is a website. It's a Facebook page and an Instagram and all that kind of stuff.
And you can find out about things that are vegan in Houston.
That is exactly right. I named it well, didn't I?
It's a clever name, actually.
Thank you.
Well, a vegan, sometimes from Houston, is now joining us, and also the author of The Way of the Meathead. His name is Daniel Austin. Daniel Austin, good evening.
Can you hear me?
The Way of the Vegan Meathead. I missed your
Yeah, it's very important that the word vegan's in there.
Oh, yeah, vegan. That's right.
I might sell more if I took vegan out and tricked everybody, but
That's not a bad
I'd be
idea.
down for that, maybe.
The reissue?
If it was a net gain, I'd do it for the animals. Hey, guys.
What's up, man? I'm that guy that played about 5 seconds of piano on your latest album.
I know, man. Hey,
Remember me? What's up?
nice. Is this the first time we ever talked? We coordinated all that by...
It was all email and Dropbox and the glory of technology. Here we are.
What kind of music are we
Yeah.
talking about?
This is your... what would you describe that as, Daniel?
Well, Band of Mercy is a side project of my main band, Die Young, with the vegan members of Die Young, and it's essentially punk rock, but it's influenced by metal and like D-beat hardcore. So
Yeah, it's
if
very
you want to
intense
get
stuff.
like real nerdy about the subgenres, but overall, it's just it's like if you like Motorhead, you could dig Band of Mercy.
Do you feel like giving us a punk rock primal scream right now, or do you have to kind of work up to it?
No, I could do it, but I would just feel ridiculous. It's
trying
only
to
good
set
in
you up.
context,
Oh, it'll be entertainment value.
It doesn't come across the same on the phone.
Okay, well, that's cool. Well, we're really talking to you tonight about your book because you have an event this weekend. Is that right?
Correct. On Saturday at the East End Barber Shop on Telephone Road. I'm going to just have a couple hours to get together with some free vegan treats, and I'll talk about the book that I released last month called The Way of the Vegan Meathead, which is basically a template for eating for strength as a vegan.
So wait a minute, I thought vegans were like weaklings and kind of awkward and...
Yeah, very protein deficient type sad people.
So,
and they have a lot of injuries too, right?
yeah. So I became a competitive powerlifter about 3 years ago.
As a vegan?
As a vegan, after being vegan for 9 years, I've been vegan over 12 years now, and I haven't been injured, and I've won some competitions. I've placed in top 3 in more than half of my competitions. There's always like a few meters there that are definitely weaker than me. I've never been the weakest one, so sometimes I'm the strongest one in my weight class. So people always ask me, how do you eat to do that? So it's not a health diet; it's a strength diet for strength athletes.
Right, you're not cutting any calories, are you?
Well, I show you ways that you can because I have to maintain a weight class to compete. So I had to find ways to get enough protein and enough calories, but just the right amount to maintain my weight so that I could compete in a class that I could win. And so it took a lot of trial and error before I got the right rub and the right balance of like macronutrients for me personally.
Yeah.
And it's actually it's a high protein diet and it's a high fat diet. And so the thing I eat the least of as a vegan, which people find peculiar, is carbohydrates. And so that's kind of why I ended up writing the book. People are like, how do you even, number one, how do you be vegan? Number two, how do you be an athlete as a vegan? Number three, how do you be a high-fat, high-protein vegan? So,
where do you get your protein?
Yeah, I would imagine this would confuse a lot of people because it kind of goes against, the stereotype of what most people think a vegan is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess it really does. I mean, usually, unless I'm competing with my plant-built teammates, I'm usually the only vegan or vegetarian in these things. And but yeah, I eat a lot of fake meat, hence the name Vegan Meathead. And I eat a lot of tofu, and I eat a lot of tempeh and seitan, and builder bars and protein powder. And I eat more protein than is probably recommended, but the benefit of plant-based protein is that there hasn't really been any study that's proven that it's got long-term damaging effects, even on the kidneys,
right,
the way animal-based protein does. So, I mean, I've had my blood tested a couple times for insurance in the past few years while I've been doing this. I'm top-notch. You know, I feel great. I keep getting stronger overall. You know, progress isn't linear. Sometimes you just are a little worn out from years of doing taxing things on your body, but I always find a way to break the plateau and improve. So, and like I was saying earlier, with this diet, I've been able to increase my total score as a powerlifter, which is just in pounds, by 200 pounds without gaining any body weight.
Wow.
And I mean, even for any kind of strength athlete, usually they equate more strength with more body mass, more body weight. And I've been able to do that as a vegan without doing that. And I'm in my 30s, so I'm not exactly like in my hormonal prime. You know?
Right. Well, I think we're kind of coming to the end of this, so let's talk about your event again. That's this Saturday or Sunday?
This Saturday, the 3rd, at East End Barber at 7 p.m. It's free. There'll be goodies from Simple Bakery and refreshments, and just come. You can ask me, pick my brain some more about the diet, pick up the book, and shirts and hats and like merchandise that I have for the Vegan Meathead brand.
Sweet. I will definitely be there so we can meet in person finally.
Oh, amazing. I owe you a CD, don't I?
Yes, you do.
All right, I'll have it.
Sweet.
Awesome.
All right, that's Daniel Austin, The Way of the Vegan Meathead. Which is
veganmeathead.com is where you can get it, and Amazon.
Veganmeathead.com?
Yep, and Amazon.
And Amazon. All right.
The Vegan Beast.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for taking time out of your evening to talk with us, and we'll see you this weekend.
Great. Thank you, guys.
All right. Bye.
Cowboy wannabes, charming jacks, and starched jeans, and unsatisfied woman love a tradition called rodeo. A tradition ruled by cruelty, fear, and pain.
Rodeo from Idaho to Mexico. Country foods in USA, their life is childish cruelty. Rodeo, a bloody horror cowboy show. Man with heart and guts say no to the Helgen Rodeo.
And America, the stadium's always full. The cowboys bareback ride, the Mustang and the bull. These animals are scared to death, try to escape in vain. The force and pleasure as resulting cruelty and pain. Wildest fans and cattlemen, yeah, they watch this game. But in its torture, legal crime, sadism is a shame. Rodeo from Idaho to Mexico. Country foods in USA, their life is childish cruelty. Rodeo, a bloody horror cowboy show. Man with heart and guts say no to the Helgen Rodeo.
And as the Vegan Beast rolls on here, Vegan World Radio tonight here on KPFT Houston. By the way, be sure to remember us in Fun Drive. It starts on Thursday. Next week we'll be in Fun Drive and looking for your support. But tonight we are talking about, we covered the possibility of becoming a vegan weightlifter, and now we're going to be talking about the cruelty that is inherent in the rodeo and the way that animals are treated in the rodeo. And we're going to speak in a little bit to Victoria Renee. She's a co-organizer of the local rodeo protests, as well as Spring Pig Saver. But first, we're going to speak to someone that's doing some very hands-on work to try to save farm animals. We're going to speaking to Renee from Rowdy Girl, and she's got a organization down south of town that is well, tell us about it.
Well, thank you so much, Patrick, for having me on the show again. Haven't seen you guys in a while. Rowdy Girl Sanctuary is a 501c3 nonprofit. In fact, we are 3 years old this month, and I'm 60 years old today. So happy birthday, Rowdy Girl, and, happy birthday to me, right? So
Yeah, happy birthday.
Anyway, Rowdy Girl is a nonprofit. We used to be a vegan. We used to be a beef cattle ranch, and now we are a vegan farm sanctuary. We actually rescue the animals, the kinds of animals that we used to slaughter, and we also rescue animals that we never had before on the farm. Like we have FFA pigs, kids that surrender their FFA pigs to us. We have a lot of chickens. We have chickens that have been rescued from like cockfighting ring. We have goats that we've rescued. We have ducks. We have some horses that we've had all along that are still at the sanctuary. And so, yeah, we have lots of cows, and we just continue to share our love for farm animals, particularly. We love all animals, of course, but our mission is to rescue farm animals that are bound for slaughter.
Now wait a minute. So y'all were making money and raising animals for slaughter, and you were going to rodeos, and all the rest of that whole world, and then at some point you just decided, hey, wait a minute, we want to save animals instead of eat them?
Yeah, it just happened like one day. This true blood dyed-in-the-wool Texan just said, I think I'm just going to stop going to these barbecue cook-offs and chili cook-offs. And, I was a diehard rodeo fan. I went to the rodeo all the time, every year. My grandmother took us to the circuses, to the rodeos, ever since I could barely walk. And so she'd put us on the bus and take us to the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. I can remember, doing that. And, so I grew up in the rodeo. I grew up, at the circuses. I grew up, absolutely abusing animals and thought it was fun. And I think the majority of the world out there, especially Texans, they abuse animals and they call it fun. We used to sit there in the stands and watch this calf roping. These little calves, that are, gosh, to think today, that we have our little babies like Oliver and Blue and Prana and some of these other babies, little Harvey, that we just cherish and love, and that they use these animals to exploit at these rodeos. I used to sit and watch that and think, this is supposed to be fun. No, it's not fun. Yeah, we used to actually be a beef cattle ranch. I went vegan as a result of seeing the red trailer go to the sale barn one too many times, being married to my multi-generational cattle rancher husband. And I didn't intend to go vegan. It was something that happened to me as a result of Rowdy Girl, a cow that actually was my vegan advocate.
So we're told when we're growing up that this is the way it is. This is just something we have to accept. Like a lot of times, kids know that it's wrong to kill animals. I lived on a dairy farm when I was a little kid. And my dad also grew alfalfa, and they had a lot of dairy cattle, especially the farm next door. And I remember hearing the girl about my age. We were both about 4 or 5 years old. I remember very clearly the conversation she had with her mom, because she was upset at the way that the veal calves would cry for their mother when they're separated from their mom. They just cry this mournful cry, like, "Where are you? Where are you?" And the mother cries and cries for them, and she got a talking to for being upset about that. And so we're, in so many different ways, we're taught not to think about animals as individuals or as conscious beings that are worthy of ethical respect. And this is, and we can make money off of it. Of course, people enjoy eating them. But it sounds like that y'all broke through that one day and made this complete change around with what you're doing with your property and with your life, with y'all's lives. Going to include Tommy as well. Tommy's a vegan too, right? Your husband? Oh
yeah, he'll be vegan 3 years in May. Wow. So yeah, we broke through. Patrick, for me it was very painful. I literally, I like to tell people I seriously lost my mind in order to go vegan, and I had to, it took me 6 years of watching those babies go to the sale barn and watching the mothers crying for their babies, watching the babies just feeling so betrayed. I mean, their eyes would just bug out, in that trailer, and the mothers would chase that red trailer out of the pasture, and then as soon as that red trailer would take the turn up Highway 35, the cows would take the turn with the red trailer and go as far up the fence line as they could until they could no longer chase the red trailer, and then they would just wail and wail for 6, 7, 8 days straight, all these cows crying. It's the most horrible sound you've ever heard. And my husband told me at the time that I had to get used to it. You're a rancher's wife, Renee. You got to get used to this. And I was like, I will never get used to this. And so I would go outside with the mothers crying, and I would just drop to my knees, and I would literally cry with them. I would cry with them. I would beg forgiveness, and I was not vegan. It took me 6 years to break through this conditioning because, particularly in Texas, I mean, we are programmed. I mean, we have generational, genes, if you will, that are teaching us and telling us that, being vegan is not what we are supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be eating animals for a living. We're supposed to be raising animals. We're supposed to be using them. So, this is something to break through that kind of tradition takes a lot of like water dripping on a rock. It just has to keep going, and just keep dripping. And that's what happened to me. The water kept dripping on the rock until it went all the way through, and I lost it. I said, man, this is it. I went vegan October 31st, 2014. My husband had just retired from Dow Chemical a couple months before. And I basically, one day out in the field, said, he was going to sell all the cows. He was just going to sell every last one of them, get out of the business. And I said, well, if you're going to sell all the cows, why don't you just sell them to me? And he was like, sell them to you? You lost your mind. I said, yeah, I've lost my mind. And, why don't you just sell them to me? He said, Renee, there is no sanctuary, because I wanted to open a sanctuary in Texas. He said, you can't open no sanctuaries in Texas. That happens in New York and California. And anyway, long story short is he told me I could buy the cows for $30,000, and I raised $36,000 in less than 4 months on social media, and I bought his cows and started Rowdy Girl Sanctuary, the first documented beef cattle ranch conversion that we know of, the first one.
So now y'all are a nonprofit, and the vegan community all over the world has stepped in to pay for y'all's existence and make it like a demonstration of compassion for these individual animals. It's so powerful.
Yeah, and we are now, we have a rancher advocacy program now as a result, because what's about to happen in our consciousness in the world is it's one thing to rescue an animal, but it's another thing to rescue a ranch. And what I really want to do is to help bring to bear the need to rescue ranches because, teenagers are going vegan and vegetarian in these rancher households, these multi-generational ranches. And they're going vegan and vegetarian, and they're not wanting to pick up the baton of the ranching tradition that their dad and granddad and great-granddad did. This is coming at me. This isn't something I'm making up. This is something that ranchers are telling me. And so, we've got to have a way to take care of these ranches, and we've got to have a way to market to these ranches that maybe hadn't even thought about it yet, that they need to start thinking. It ain't, we can't keep doing what we're doing on our planet and survive. We can't. It didn't happen. We are, time's up.
And it's powerful because it's so easy to talk, but y'all are actually doing something, like doing something concrete. Yeah,
we're doing it, and it's, it's to be on the leading edge of something like this that nobody else has done has been interesting, because I never wrote a business plan and said, this is what I want to do when I grow up. I'm going to go to school for this. I'm going to get a degree in this, and this is what I'm going to do. This kind of happened to me because it did happen to me because ethically I could not continue seeing animals abused and slaughtered. Ethically, I began to see that animals had just as much a right. In fact, I believe they have more of a right because they have been so abused, so exploited through the centuries. I mean, it is time for humanity, humans, to rise up and see the horrible, horrible horrors we have inflicted on our brethren, our sisters. These animals should be our friends, not hacked up, chopped up, mutilated pieces of flesh that we continue to gorge on. It's and use. It's pitiful.
And we don't need to, right? We don't need to. We saw earlier that you can even be like a vegan bodybuilder. That we know now that you can be healthy as through nutrition as a vegan without like a crazy elaborate diet, but just eating a variety of foods and being vegan. We know we don't have to eat animals to survive anymore, and so yet we continue not only to inflict that suffering and those horrible experiences on these individuals, but to do it on an industrial scale in these factories and these hog sheds and these chicken farms, where it's like an insane level of suffering. Like, these animals don't have anything like a normal life, the ones that are in these sheds, and yeah, it's awful.
It's horrifying.
But you're making a stand against it.
Yes, and we will continue to make a stand no matter what comes at us, no matter what, because I'm 60 years old today, and I always thought I knew what I wanted to do when I grew up. I thought I was going to be a country and western singer, And you
were for a while, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I thought I was really going to, make something of my name as a country western singer. Who knew I was just going to, who knew this was going to happen? I mean, you never know what you're going to be when you grow up. You never really know. I mean, I'm pretty much living proof of that.
So happy birthday. You're 60 years old today and running this nonprofit, which I know is a lot of work. And I mean, are you feeling, as a vegan, are you feeling kind of weak? Are you feeling kind of
weak?
Kind of exhausted? Like,
no. I mean, we just got through having a great birthday cake in there from a great place. Can I tell the listeners who made that cake?
Yeah, we can't say that it was an amazing cake or anything like that. We can only just say facts, state facts about it.
Well, it was chocolate and it was vanilla and it was. Can I tell who made the cake? Ripe Cuisine. I mean, it was a great cake by Ripe Cuisine here in Houston, and so vegans can have chocolate cake. They can have all kinds of cheese and milk and but it's all vegan. So.
And still be energetic and powerful people that work all day long. I know y'all had a whole haul to get through the whole Harvey situation because you took on, like, how many feet of water?
Oh, my God. In our house, it was like 13 inches, but out in our pastures, we took on, some places 6 feet, some places 8 feet, some places 10 feet of water. And the water line, you can see it. I'm just like, I literally have PTSD sometimes when I look and I see a water line and I see an animal under it.
Oh, man.
And,
but you got everybody out, right?
Yeah, we got all 96 animals at the time out. We have a film called Ranch Rescue that you can watch. It's pinned to the top of my Rowdy Girl Sanctuary page. It's also on our website. We actually did a documentary during this time. I don't know how it happened. It was crazy, but it's a 30-minute documentary. And, I'll be speaking a few places in the country this year, and that film will be being premiered.
Yeah, what y'all are doing is hardcore. And I know our former Vegan World Radio host Wade worked for y'all for a while, and I know you have a number of people working for y'all. And all due respect to what you're doing, and I know you've got some events to talk about, but let's since we also need to talk to our other guests, let's save that to the end. We'll go through all the upcoming events. There's lots of ways people can get involved with Rowdy Girl Sanctuary and with and saving animals in general. So we definitely want to talk about that. But first, I promised that we would talk with someone else who's taking a stand, and by going to the rodeo and protesting in some rather creative ways. And by the way, I'm joined with by Vegan World Radio co-host Mauricio. Good evening, Mauricio.
Good evening.
Mauricio.
How are you?
And Mauricio is going to help with this interview, and Renee's also going to be an interviewer as well. And the person that we're going to be interviewing is Victoria Renee. She's one of a group of people who are organizing protests against the rodeo. She also works with a group called Spring Pig Saver, and we might hear a bit about that. But so, I used to go to these rodeo protests every year as well, and man, talk about a tough crowd.
Oh, for sure. We've had people yell at us, try to block our signs, tell us we're stupid, that it's never going to change, but we're making progress with every protest, with every event. We're slowly changing people's hearts and people's minds on, that this doesn't have to be your tradition, this doesn't have to be your legacy, and that the rodeo is cruel and it's violent and it's unnecessary. For sure.
So Victoria, how did you get started in this? When did you go vegan, and what made you have a heart for wanting to do protest?
I went vegan about 2 years ago. I actually went vegan because I am an insane cow lover. Cows are my everything, which is why I love Rowdy Girl Sanctuary so much, because they have the best cows in the world.
Aw, thank you.
I got involved in activism a year ago at it was a protest for Earth Day or something. March for Science, that's what it was. And I got involved in activism there, and it just sort of spiraled out of control, and now I'm organizing events, and I'm organizing a rodeo protest, which I never thought I would be doing, but it's really awesome to be part of.
Yeah, and I really noticed that this year the protests are a lot more organized this year around the rodeo. There's a lot more activity, very, very creative activity.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about what all y'all plan on doing?
Yeah. Rodeo protests in the past, they're great, and they're still great. Leafleting, holding signs, that's great, but we love capturing people's attentions with these creative displays and demonstrations. We have our first rodeo protest of the season. It was at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo Barbecue Festival. They had all of these dead bodies cooking. It was horrifying. But we made 20 cans of jackfruit, barbecue jackfruit. We had all of this amazing char-grilled barbecue tempeh, beyond chicken strips. We had diet cheese cut up, and we dressed up as sexy cowgirls, sexy vegan cowgirls, and we went out and we held all these trays of food to try and entice, barbecue goers to try vegan instead. There's compassionate alternatives, there's cruelty-free alternatives that don't require you eating the body of a, innocent being.
Who could resist? Sexy cowgirls.
I mean, just look at Sarah Marie Lewis, Kat, Andrea, Danny. They were all standing out there holding try vegan food.
How was the reaction of the people? You remember? What did they say?
I do. It was a little disappointing. The thing with the rodeo is such a tough crowd. So many people just did not give it the time of
boots.
They're all, snakeskin boots, leather hats, we even had someone decked out in fur who was a supposed, vegan. That's debatable. But the reaction from non-vegans was, it was hard because we made all this food and a lot of them didn't even want to try it. They didn't even want to open themselves up to it. But we still had a lot of great interactions, and even if one of those people goes vegan, it's worth it.
Now they know, right?
Yeah.
They were laughing, now they know.
Yeah.
That there is an alternative.
Exactly.
And one of the things that I saw that day was that people was afraid.
They were.
Of just trying some vegan food. What do you think about that? Why were they afraid? It was cheese. It was sausages, jackfruit
it was the same
sandwiches.
Thing they're eating. They're just. I think a lot of them are just so afraid that, because they built their whole lives on this. This is their tradition. This is their culture. They go to the barbecue fest every year, and if they find out that there's an alternative, that can send their whole world crashing.
Well, you know what happened a few weeks ago? I went to an event. It was a chili cook-off, right? Mm-hmm. And I was there, and I thought, you know what? I mean, some people invited me, and I brought my vegan chili. Okay? I entered it in the cook-off, and I won third place with my vegan chili.
Very good.
And every single person in judging, all the judges were carnivores.
Vegan chili is amazing.
It's amazing. It's tasty. Yeah.
They loved it. And you know what? And the people, all the ones that, hardcore carnivores are like, oh, my God, your chili won third place. it was gone before everybody else.
And you don't feel full the rest of the day after eating that, right?
You don't feel full.
You feel nourished.
You feel good.
Energized.
You feel energized.
You start your
and
day.
Yes,
No
light.
Going.
So tell me about Danny Rukin. I mean, she came from California.
Yeah, no, she came from Portland, Oregon.
Portland. So
yeah, she does like Portland Animal Save. She does direct action everywhere out in Portland. You just go to her Facebook, go to her Instagram, The Daring Vegan, and look at her. She does solo disruptions. She does disruptions with other groups and protests, and all of her work is amazing and inspiring. And to have her here filming, she was filming for Jane Unchained, and she was also filming for herself and taking pictures, and really like getting the word out there about rodeo and how unnecessary and how cruel it is. And to have her expertise there was incredible, and I'm so thankful she came down.
Yeah, and she went to the Cabritos.
Oh, the Cabritos Garzas. Yeah. How was that?
Oh, my
Renee,
God.
you also went to the Cabritos Garza, right? Cabritos Garzas it's a slaughterhouse where you can go, pick up your animal, and they will murder the animal that you pick up.
Custom
right?
slaughter.
You know what was so
Custom
weird to
murder.
me? What was so weird to me when I walked in? Okay, first you walk in and there's the restaurant, and all the deer heads there.
Which area of town is that? It's pretty close,
it's
right?
in
It's not so
Humble.
far away,
It's in
right?
Humble.
It's Humble, okay.
Yeah, Cabritos Garza.
Uh-huh.
And you walk in the door, and there's the restaurant, and then you look to the right, there's the butcher shop. All these animals that were hacked up and bloodied and bludgeoned are sitting right there in the butcher shop, and they're also eating them in the restaurant. And then you walk through the door.
Oh, they cook the animals also there.
There's a restaurant there. Where you
there's
can,
like a little
like a taqueria.
Okay, so they kill the animal. It's like the full circle.
It's a one-stop shop, man. You can eat there.
There were
you can
families. There were babies. They were small children and babies going into a slaughterhouse where they murder people.
So how do you think that affects?
I think
How do you
it
think
is
that
people
affects
that
the
they're
babies?
using
Well, this is
animals,
what happens. So
but-
there's the butcher shop. There's the butcher shop. You walk in. Here's all the animals, right? There's chickens. There's pigs. There's a cow chained up. There's goats. And then there's also the refrigerator. We walked in there, and there's just dead carcasses hanging everywhere.
I saw the picture that you guys posted on Facebook and the video.
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing. It was so shocking.
Oh,
it was
and then
incredible.
when that family walked in, like you're talking about, that family, they chose this baby goat with these children there to eat. And it's on the video that Danny Rukin did. They chose this baby goat, and then they dragged the baby goat by the leg. You could hear the baby goat screaming, and they put it in that chute, and I got to see the eyes of that baby goat. I promise you, I just about fainted when I saw those eyes.
Of course.
She looked right at me, and I was like, I just froze.
What do you think that does to the future human being growing? Don't you think that that human being, that little kid, is going to grow up like without any sensitivity towards pain?
Don't you think? Rick?
Any sensitivity towards violence?
There's also things linking going to rodeo. There's the effects of normalizing rodeo violence in children, and then also animal
You
abuse.
get numb,
and I think
right?
it applies
To pain.
here too. You're exposing children to sanctioned animal abuse. You're exposing them to saying it's okay to harm this being. It's acceptable here. It's acceptable in this setting. If you were to go beat your dog,
It's a tradition.
Absolutely.
It's
that
already
would
a
be bad,
tradition.
but because
And
this
it's
is
okay.
tradition and culture and food, it seemed as okay.
Because it's a tradition that we
yeah.
do it for so many years, right?
Yeah, it's teaching them domination, injury of animals. That's okay. It's becomes acceptable for violence. They go and put that violence out into the world as well.
Okay, yeah.
It's a cycle.
And what do you think they feel when they see violence among humans?
Well, isn't
it the same?
Well, we could talk about violence on humans all day long. I have a real strong opinion, and that is that if we quit eating animals and quit killing animals and eating them, that we would have world peace. I really believe
Peace
that.
begins in your plate.
I really believe that.
I believe that too. Peace
Do you
begins
really?
in your plate.
Yeah, I really do believe it. And we've never tried that. Our humanity has never tried going vegan. We scream for world peace. We clamor.
But we never want to do anything to achieve it.
No, we just shoot each other up, and we kill animals, and we eat animals, and good God,
it's also, it's a fact that these violent criminals, the humans who kill humans, it's a fact that they have a history of animal abuse.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah,
You look at
so there's
so
a link
many
between that.
of the like violent criminals, and even if you look at the mass shootings and stuff,
The
you'll
mass
see
shootings,
that
yeah.
almost all of them had histories of abusing animals, which that's why we need to have protection for animals. We need to have animal rights laws so that that is where peace begins. If we can't treat our most vulnerable beings on this planet with compassion and respect, how are we going to treat each other with compassion and respect?
They're vulnerable.
That's right.
They're voiceless.
Yes,
They
exactly.
are vulnerable. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, the farm animals. When I was in that that refrigerated locker room, and I saw this huge cow carcass.
The bodies hanging upside down.
I was right there beside it,
without
right?
legs, without.
And the guy was standing there, the owner.
The skin.
The owner.
Yeah, I
and
saw that.
And I said to him, so when did this one get killed? How old is it? And he said, she was killed yesterday.
Yeah.
And were you standing there at the time?
No, I wasn't inside.
No, you didn't go in. Yeah. But God, she was killed yesterday, and I was sitting there thinking about Cinnamon and Rowdy Girl, and
And
Dean.
if you look at the average ages of almost all of the animals killed in animal agriculture, all of them are babies.
They're babies. We're killing babies, y'all.
Well, that's something like a delicacy, right? You spend more money to kill a baby.
Yeah. We're eating and killing babies, y'all. You're eating babies.
I remember one time I went to Germany. I was in Germany in Berlin, and I got horrified because in this fancy restaurant there was the menu, okay, and in the menu you can order bratwurst, schnitzel, and there was another menu where you can order pigs, and in the description of the pig will say still suckling pig.
Suckling pigs, yeah.
Oh my God!
I was like, oh no, I have to drink more beer.
Still suckling pigs.
Still suckling pigs.
If you don't know about suckling pigs, because they sell those at Fisher Ham and Meat, which Spring Pig Save does protests and vigils against. Suckling pigs are baby pigs that are still suckling from their mothers, and they take them and they beat them over the head with a bat to kill them, so that their bodies are still intact, and they sell them like that.
Yep.
It's disgusting.
Could you imagine in a world where we would actually take, babies that were born, human babies, and say, hey, this is still a suckling child, we're going to beat it over the head, and,
Yeah. And if you look at the rodeo is also a tradition of abusing babies. If you look at, say, the calf scramble and calf roping, babies less than 300 pounds. These are cows that get up to 1,000 pounds and higher. They're less than 300 pounds, and they're forced to run up to 25 miles an hour. They're tormented in the holding chute. Their tails are twisted. They're prodded. They're shocked with electric prods over 5,000 volts, and by the time the gate opens, the velocity that they run out, and then they're roped, their necks and their backs end up snapping, and they die.
They die in the moment, right?
They die instantly.
Well, the question that I ask myself over and over is how society will react if these animals were be like pets.
They are pets. I mean, a Rowdy Girl Sanctuary.
If you put dogs
at
in
Rowdy
the
Girl
rodeo,
Sanctuary.
that's what I'm saying.
You've been to Rowdy Girl.
Yes, I've been there. Yeah,
thank
you. It was a great
if you
experience.
look at Cinnamon at Rowdy Girl Sanctuary, she's a big puppy. She'll nuzzle you. She'll lick your face.
I like Cinnamon.
She loves scratches. Yep. She's just like a big, fluffy, giant dog.
I mean, our animals, our calves, just like that, will lay in our laps.
Yeah.
And Kate, was out there just the other day with, little Oliver across her lap. Little Surprise will come across my lap. Just lay there. They'll extend their neck. They just want their neck rubbed.
When did it start that we have this division between farm animals and home animals? And it's okay to hurt farm animals, and it's not okay to hurt dogs. And a lot of people, I see that a lot of people are so upset because in Asia they kill dogs and cats. But what about here? The same people here are eating cows and pigs and goats and all that.
They get so upset, and Yulin is awful. Eating dogs is awful. But if you compare the numbers, 10,000 dogs are killed at Yulin Dog Meat Festival. If you look at Thanksgiving, 65 million turkeys are killed.
It's even worse.
700.
It's even worse.
What was it? Million or was it No, it was millions. 700 million chickens were killed for the Super Bowl alone.
And people here get
God.
horrified.
That is terrible.
People get horrified here because they killing dogs.
Yep.
And every one of those millions had a personality and had a life. And had,
they do.
And they let their eyes to look at the world like the eyes of the animal that you saw dragged away to slaughter, and experiencing their life in that moment much the way that we do. Even if they don't have language, even if they're not exactly like us, but they clearly have emotion and feeling, right?
They have their own language. Beings. You know, they do have a language. You know, they have their own language. And, you know, and if you're vegan, for me anyway, I can understand them. And
once you see them as people, you start to recognize some of the same emotions and some of the same feelings that you yourself feel and think. And you start to recognize it in these animals that you started to feel compassion for the first time in your life.
Well, yeah, I felt that when I went to the sanctuary. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm gonna tell. I have to make a confession. I didn't want to go to the sanctuary that day.
Why?
Because I'm so afraid of cows.
Why? Are you afraid of cows?
I was afraid.
You're
I was.
Sweet baby.
You
I
was.
know, I was.
Well, you're afraid you were going to get like charged or something.
They were going to, you know, you killed my great grandfather.
Well, you know they can.
Yeah, because I wasn't vegan all my whole life, you know. So I went. And I met Cinnamon.
Aww.
And I discovered that Cinnamon likes massage.
She does.
And I started to giving her massages, and she started to go behind me after me for more massage.
Mm-hmm.
And then she will say to me, she will, you know, I don't know how do you say that when they hit you with their head.
Oh yeah, they butt you, headbutt you.
Headbutting, yes,
yeah.
And she will want more.
She does. They do.
She wanted more.
And that's all they have is their head to communicate with, you know?
I think everybody should go to the sanctuary. Everyone that's listening should go to the sanctuary. And the word vegan has another dimension where you have this direct spiritual connection to the animal.
You do, because you know what happened to me when I went vegan with these animals is I was able to start connecting with them in a way that had nothing to do with words. If, you know, when I go out there with the cows, I call it, you know, okay, now I'm getting into calzone, and it's not an Italian pastry. It's calzone, you know, it's like...
Calzone.
That's my joke. But you get in calzone, and it's quiet.
Yeah.
It's like you do not talk, because they're watching you and they're perceiving you, and if you're doing a lot of talking, they can't perceive you. And so if you enter their zone in perfect silence and get on the ground on your knees and approach them just with your head, they won't move and they'll come up to you. It's like they don't want your hands, they don't want your voice unless they know you.
They want your energy.
They want your energy. They want to perceive that you are okay. They can't like decipher through all the chatter. So.
Well, in the last few minutes that we have left, I understand that y'all have some events and ways people can get involved with the sanctuary and some free tickets. And then after we let people know how to connect with Rowdy Girl Animal Sanctuary, we also want to talk about the specifics of the rodeo protest events.
Yeah.
So we need to know the website.
No, it's rowdygirlsanctuary.org, and our Facebook is Rowdy Girl Sanctuary. You can find us on Instagram. Now listen to this, y'all. March 17th, we have the Rowdy Girl Rally with Dolly Ahuja. She's going to be speaking on Ahimsa, the true meaning of compassion, and this woman is Indian and really speaking out against dairy, and particularly talking about Indian vegetarians. I mean, because so many vegetarians, don't understand the conflict of dairy, and she really speaks on that. March 17th. And then also in April, our tour is booked, y'all. April 14th is booked, but we have one April 28th if you want to come out and meet these cows and see what we're doing and what we're all about. Mark your calendars. May 19th, we have our Vegan Mayfest. You can get a vegan booth. You can sponsor the event. You can have submit raffle items, get tickets. Just come out and enjoy the fun. May 19th, our Vegan Mayfest. And if you know Earthling Ed, have you heard of Earthling Ed?
Yes, Earthling Ed.
He's coming June 17th to Rowdy Girl.
June 17th to Rowdy Girl. That's amazing.
Isn't it? It's crazy.
It's
excited.
Insane. That's great.
We're excited. And then July.
What's the date again?
That's June 17th.
Do people have to register to go?
You're going to
there?
be registering. Yeah, it'll be
What's
on
the
our
website?
It's rowdygirlsanctuary.org.
Okay.
And then if you want to come volunteer again, we're going to have a big volunteer day. I know y'all have all been there and volunteered.
Yeah.
We got Mauricio, Victoria, and
Yes.
Shelby over there, and Danny out there
It
listening,
was a
and
great
others.
experience.
This one's going to be called Cow Appreciation Day. That's what it's called, Cow Appreciation Day. And so we're going to give away tickets, y'all. If you want to call 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tickets, y'all. If you call in, leave your name, leave your address, and your email, and I will mail you these tickets.
So 713-526-5738. We just have like 8 minutes left in the show, so you need to call right away. But 713-526-5738 to get the tickets to y'all's event. So.
And if I don't say one more thing, I'm gonna get shot.
Okay,
So, and it's a vegan shot. It'll be like a vegan shot, one of those wheatgrass shots. Oh, woo, got that one. Corpus Christi Veg Fest, June 23rd. Corpus
Everyone
Christi.
should be there.
Yeah, that's going to be at Heritage Park, June 23rd. And Jane Velez Mitchell is coming to speak. She will also be speaking at our Mayfest. And I'm also going to be speaking out at the Corpus Christi Veg Fest. So you guys come. Y'all come experience vegan Texas.
Yes. Try to start doing your carpooling plans.
Yeah.
To get your friends over there. Even people who are not vegan, they will also enjoy going to these shows. I that's what I did. I grabbed people who are not vegans and I just hold them over there.
And just in the minutes we have left, Victoria Renee, local activist, can you tell us in like 30 seconds what's wrong with calf roping and mutton busting and selling animals to be killed at the slaughterhouse? And then tell us how people can take a stand at y'all's events.
It's so inhumane and unethical to think that these animals are put here for us to use. They are not. These are babies. They are not meant for entertainment. They should be loved. They should be nurtured. They should not have their necks snapped. They should not be brutalized. There are, testimonials from slaughterhouse workers who get these animals after they're sold. They're covered in bruises. They're broken bones everywhere. It's not right, and that's why especially vegans need to be protesting the rodeo so we can get this inhumane tradition to stop.
Where can we find the dates for the protests? When is the next protest?
The next protest is Sunday, March 4th from 12 to 3 p.m.
What is the Facebook page where you have all the events?
That's just on my personal page. I have the events, Victoria Renee. You can friend me on Facebook. Also, Animal Activism Houston, and you can also find them on Houston Vegans.
Great.
What about Hart and Houston Animal Save? What are they up to?
Well, I do know in addition that Hart is having rodeo protests on the 2nd of March, which is a Friday at 5 p.m., and also the next day, March the 3rd, Saturday at 1 p.m., and also March 11th, Sunday at 5:30 p.m., and March 17th. Saturday at 5:30 p.m. I know we've thrown a lot of dates at y'all, but you can find all those at both the Heart Facebook page, and then also what's your Facebook again?
You can find it at Animal Activism Houston. You can just request to join the group and say you want to get interested in rodeo, and we'll let you in.
And Renee, what's for Rowdy Girl? What are y'all's contacts again?
It's rowdygirlsanctuary.org. And you can subscribe to our newsletter. Rowdy Girl Sanctuary is on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
And if y'all are so inclined to go to the event of our first guest, Daniel Austin, former Houstonian organizer, hardcore vegan punk, and author of the book that they'll be having a book release party for called The Way of the Vegan Meathead. That's this weekend, March 3rd at 7 p.m. on Saturday over at East End Barber, 1318 Telephone Road. Is vegan snacks and free admission. But, of course, the simplest way to help animals is just to stop eating them.
Stop eating them. Yep, and I want to say hi to my husband Tommy out there in the green room.
And we appreciate y'all coming in. And just in the last few minutes we have left, we want to say goodbye to y'all in a sec. And then we want to celebrate the birthday this month of Cesar Chavez. A lot of people don't know Cesar Chavez was a vegan, and we're going to hear some words from him. His birthday is March 31st. But thanks, y'all, for being on the show.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Renee.
Individuals with the vision and foresight to extend their circle of compassion to all species, human and non-human alike. I'm honored to give this award to you, Cesar.
Thank you very much, Dr. Elliot Katz, and all the members and supporters of In Defense of Animals. We bring you greetings from the farm workers and all those people who feel like you do, that we must respect all life without exceptions. We need in a special way to work twice as hard to make all people understand that animals are fellow creatures, that we must protect them and love them as we love ourselves. And that we cannot hope to have peace until we respect everyone, respect ourselves, and respect animals and all living things. And that's the basis, we think, the beginning of peace. We know we cannot defend and be kind to animals until we stop exploiting them in the name of science, exploiting animals in the name of sport, exploiting animals in the name of fashion, and yes, exploiting animals in the name of food. And that the basis for peace is respecting all creatures. That's the basis for peace.
Good evening, plant-based power people. Here are the events for the following weeks. We have several events for rodeo, outreach, and protests in Houston, starting March 4th, 12 to 3 p.m., March 9th, 3 to 6 p.m., March 10th, 12 to 3 p.m., March 14, 3 to 6 p.m., March 18, 12 to 3 p.m. All of those events are going to be done at Kirby Drive, Houston, Texas 77054. March the 3rd, 2018, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. An event organized by Healing America. Transform your health and the health of our nation. It's going to be at the Houston Baptist University, 7502 Fondren Road. You can call at 713-701-1216 to register for updates. Text JOIN to 713-701-1216. March 9th, Cube of Truth, Houston, Texas. Friday, March 9th at 6 p.m., Anonymous for the Voiceless will perform a demo for the Cube of Truth at the Houston Toyota Center. As a reminder, you can support Pacifica Today for Radio Tomorrow at www.kpft.org. If you missed the show, visit our archives at veganworldradio.org. Up next, Proyecto Latino Americano kicks off the hour of Spanish programming.
Natural Awakenings is Houston's premier healthy living magazine. Locally produced, Natural Awakenings' mission is to provide insights and information on natural health, nutrition, fitness, green living, and more. Each issue features articles written by nationally recognized authors and local experts. Available for free at newsstands around town or online at naturalawakenings-houston.com. This is KPFT Houston.
Family Houston is a nonprofit organization that provides mental health counseling for children in the greater Houston area. Family Houston's counseling program helps children manage negative feelings before they interfere with school or lead to risky behaviors. Appointments can be made in English or Spanish by calling 713-861-4849. For more information, email media@familyhouston.org or visit us online at familyhouston.org. KPFT Houston.
One world home for everyone. One dream, one song heard by everyone.